In the summer of 1912, the Dunbar family embarked on what seemed to be a joyous outing to Swayze Lake in Louisiana. Little did they know, this trip would turn into a nightmare that would haunt them for years to come. Bobby Dunbar, a lively 4-year-old boy with an infectious smile, was the heart of his family. His parents, Leslie and Percy Dunbar, adored him and his younger brother, Alonzo. The family was excited for a day filled with laughter, swimming and picnicking by the serene lake. But as the sun began to set, a chilling realization dawned upon the Dunbars. Bobby was nowhere to be found. Panic set in as they scoured the area, calling out his name, their voices echoing through the trees. The tranquil lake that once seemed so inviting now held a sinister air, as if it had swallowed up their precious son. The Dunbars' desperate search extended into the night, and soon, the entire community joined in. Lanterns flickered in the darkness, casting eerie shadows on the water's surface. Despite their exhaustive efforts, Bobby had vanished without a trace. This mysterious disappearance would mark the beginning of a complex and heart-wrenching saga, forever altering the lives of the Dunbar family and leaving a haunting question that still lingers today. What really happened to Bobby Dunbar? As days turned into weeks, the search for Bobby Dunbar intensified. The Dunbar family, gripped by an overwhelming sense of despair, refused to give up hope. The once lively home was now filled with an unbearable silence, broken only by the sobs of a mother longing for her lost child. The local authorities, along with countless volunteers, scoured every inch of the surrounding area. Search parties combed through dense forests, trudged through muddy swamps, and even dragged the lake, hoping to uncover any clue that might lead them to Bobby. The media quickly picked up the story, and soon, the entire nation was captivated by the plight of the Dunbar family. Posters with Bobby's smiling face were plastered on every telephone pole, and newspapers ran daily updates on the search efforts. The community rallied together, organizing fundraisers to support the Dunbars and keep the search alive. Despite the overwhelming support, each passing day, without any sign of Bobby, felt like an eternity. As weeks turned into months, the once hopeful search began to wane. The relentless Louisiana summer sun beat down on the searchers, and the hope that had initially fueled their efforts began to fade. The Dunbars, however, remained resolute. Leslie and Percy clung to the belief that their son was still out there, somewhere, waiting to be found. The case garnered national attention, with people from all over the country sending letters of support and tips about possible sightings. Every lead, no matter how small, was meticulously followed up on. The emotional toll on the family was immense, but they persevered, driven by the faint glimmer of hope that they might one day be reunited with their beloved Bobby. The search for Bobby Dunbar would continue to be one of the most extensive and heart-wrenching efforts of its time, capturing the hearts of a nation and leaving an indelible mark on the Dunbar family. Little did they know, the mystery was far from over, and the answers they sought would only lead to more questions. What really happened to Bobby Dunbar? 8 months had passed since Bobby Dunbar's disappearance, and the Dunbar family was on the brink of despair. Just when hope seemed to be slipping away, a miraculous twist reignited their spirits. In a small town in Mississippi, a boy matching Bobby's description was found in the company of a handyman named William Walters. Walters claimed the boy was Bruce Anderson, the son of a woman he knew, but the Dunbars were convinced that this was their long-lost Bobby. The news spread like wildfire, and the community buzzed with anticipation. Leslie and Percy Dunbar, filled with a mix of hope and anxiety, traveled to Mississippi to see the boy. The moment Leslie laid eyes on him, she was certain this was her son. Tears flowed as she embraced the child, her heart overwhelmed with the belief that her prayers had finally been answered. However, not everyone was convinced. The boy, who had been living as Bruce Anderson, seemed confused and frightened. The ensuing legal battle was intense, with both sides presenting evidence and witnesses to support their claims. The courtroom was a battleground of emotions, as the Dunbars fought to reclaim their son, and Walters insisted on his innocence. Ultimately, the court ruled in favor of the Dunbars, officially declaring the boy as Bobby Dunbar. The family returned home with a renewed sense of hope, believing that their nightmare had finally come to an end. Yet, beneath the surface, doubts lingered. Was this boy truly Bobby Dunbar? Or had they made a tragic mistake? As the Dunbars tried to rebuild their lives, the mystery surrounding Bobby's disappearance only deepened. The community, once united in hope, now found themselves questioning the truth. The story of Bobby Dunbar had taken a new turn, and the answers they sought seemed further away than ever. What really happened to Bobby Dunbar? Just as the Dunbars began to settle back into their lives with the boy they believed to be Bobby, a new figure emerged from the shadows: Julia Anderson. Julia, a humble woman from North Carolina, claimed that the boy was indeed her son, Bruce Anderson, and that William Walters had taken him with her consent. Julia's arrival added a new layer of complexity to the already convoluted case. She traveled tirelessly to Mississippi, determined to reclaim her child and prove his true identity. Her presence ignited a fierce battle that would soon escalate to the courtroom. Julia's testimony was heartfelt and emotional. She recounted vivid memories of her son, Bruce, describing his birthmark, his habits, and his favorite lullabies. However, the Dunbars, armed with their own set of memories and convictions, were equally adamant. Each side presented compelling evidence, leaving the courtroom in a state of tension and uncertainty. The trial became a spectacle, drawing crowds and media attention from across the nation. People were divided. Some sympathized with Julia, a mother fighting for her child, while others stood by the Dunbars, who had already endured the agony of losing a son once. The judge faced an impossible decision. With both sides presenting such convincing arguments, the truth seemed more elusive than ever. The courtroom scenes were fraught with emotion as witnesses testified, and tears were shed. In the end, the court ruled in favor of the Dunbars, swayed by the collective belief that the boy was indeed Bobby. Julia Anderson left the courtroom defeated, but not broken. She vowed to continue her fight, though the odds seemed insurmountable. The case of Bobby Dunbar had now become a tangled web of claims and counterclaims, love and loss, hope and despair. The community was left in a state of confusion, questioning not only the identity of the boy, but also the nature of truth and justice. As the dust settled, one thing was clear: the mystery of Bobby Dunbar was far from over. Julia Anderson's protest had added a new, haunting chapter to this already chilling tale, leaving everyone to wonder, what really happened to Bobby Dunbar? The answers, it seemed, were still out of reach, buried deep within a labyrinth of human emotions and judicial decisions. As Julia Anderson's claims stirred the pot, the stage was set for a courtroom drama that would captivate the nation. The Dunbars, determined to keep the boy they believed to be Bobby, faced off against Julia, who was equally resolute in her quest to reclaim her son, Bruce Anderson. The courtroom buzzed with tension as both sides presented their case. The Dunbars brought forth witnesses who testified about the boy's habits and features, aligning them with their memories of Bobby. They spoke of his playful nature, his favorite toys, and the distinct birthmark that they were certain belonged to their son. On the other hand, Julia Anderson stood firm, her voice trembling with emotion as she described Bruce's unique characteristics. She recounted his birthmark, his mannerisms, and the lullabies she used to sing him to sleep. Her heartfelt testimony moved many in the courtroom to tears, painting a vivid picture of a mother desperate to reunite with her child. The judge listened intently, his face a mask of concentration. The weight of the decision was palpable, knowing that the fate of a young boy and the lives of two families hung in the balance. The media frenzy outside the courthouse only added to the pressure, as the public remained divided and eager for a resolution. In the end, the judge ruled in favor of the Dunbars, swayed by the collective belief and the convincing evidence that the boy was indeed Bobby. Julia Anderson left the courtroom, her spirit unbroken but her heart heavy with the loss. The ruling did little to quell the public's uncertainty, as whispers of doubt and speculation continued to swirl. The courtroom drama had concluded, but the mystery was far from resolved. The ruling in favor of the Dunbars left a lingering question. Who was the boy, really? The answer remained shrouded in ambiguity, a puzzle piece that refused to fit, leaving everyone to ponder the true identity of the child at the center of this haunting tale. As the courtroom drama faded into memory, the Dunbar family embraced their new reality. The boy, now accepted as Bobby Dunbar, was enveloped in the warmth and love of his family, yet the shadows of doubt never fully dissipated. The Dunbars tried to move forward, providing Bobby with a life full of opportunities and affection. He attended school, made friends, and participated in family gatherings, all the while growing up under the watchful eyes of the public. His playful nature and curious spirit endeared him to those around him, yet there was always an undercurrent of uncertainty. Family photos captured moments of joy, birthdays, holidays, and everyday triumphs. But behind every smile, there lingered an unspoken question. Was this truly Bobby Dunbar? The boy himself grew up with the stories of his disappearance and miraculous return, a narrative that became a part of his identity. Yet, as he matured, whispers and rumors of his possible true origins followed him, casting a long shadow over his life. The Dunbar household was a blend of normalcy and intrigue. They celebrated Bobby's milestones, yet the specter of Julia Anderson's claims was never far from their minds. The family continued to live in the small Louisiana town, where the community was split. Some firmly believed in Bobby's true identity, while others harbored lingering doubts. Bobby's adolescence was marked by the typical trials and tribulations, but also by moments of introspection. He often wondered about the life he might have led as Bruce Anderson, the boy Julia Anderson fought so hard to reclaim. These thoughts were a silent burden, shared only in fleeting moments of solitude. Despite the love and care of the Dunbars, the mystery of Bobby's true identity persisted, an unresolved chord in the symphony of their lives. The boy raised as Bobby Dunbar grew into a man, carrying with him the weight of a past that was never fully his to begin with. The family continued to navigate the complexities of their shared history, bound together by love, yet forever haunted by the question that refused to be silenced. As time marched on, the story of Bobby Dunbar became a poignant reminder of the fragility of identity and the enduring impact of a mystery that captivated a nation. The Dunbars' life with Bobby was a testament to resilience in the face of uncertainty, a narrative woven with love, doubt, and the relentless search for truth. As the years turned into decades, the mystery of Bobby Dunbar's true identity lingered, a silent specter haunting both the Dunbar and Anderson families. It wasn't until the late 20th century that the advent of DNA testing offered a glimmer of hope, a chance to finally uncover the truth. In an effort to put the lingering doubts to rest, members of the Dunbar family agreed to undergo DNA testing. The results were both groundbreaking and heart-wrenching. The boy who had been raised as Bobby Dunbar was in fact Bruce Anderson, Julia Anderson's son. The revelation sent shockwaves through both families, shattering the narrative they had lived with for nearly a century. For the Dunbars, the emotional impact was profound. They had loved and cared for Bruce as their own, and the truth didn't change the bond they had formed. Yet the realization that the boy they had fought so hard to reclaim was not their biological son left them grappling with a complex mix of emotions: love, betrayal, and a renewed sense of loss. On the other side, the Anderson family found a bittersweet closure. Julia Anderson had passed away, never knowing the truth about her son. But for her descendants, the DNA results provided a long-awaited answer. They mourned the years lost, the childhood Bruce had spent away from his biological family, and the pain Julia must have endured. Yet, there was also a sense of vindication, a confirmation of what Julia had always believed. The DNA revelation forever altered the narrative of the Bobby Dunbar case. It highlighted the fragility of identity and the far-reaching consequences of a single moment in time. The story that had captivated a nation for decades was now seen through a new lens, one that underscored the enduring impact of love, loss, and the relentless pursuit of truth. As we reflect on this century-old mystery, we are reminded of the power of science to illuminate the past and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable uncertainty. The tale of Bobby Dunbar, now Bruce Anderson, serves as a poignant reminder that the search for truth, no matter how long it takes, is a journey worth undertaking. As the dust settles on the Bobby Dunbar mystery, we're left with more than just a solved case. We're left with a myriad of unanswered questions and a legacy that continues to ripple through time. How could a case of mistaken identity have such profound and lasting effects on so many lives? The moral and legal implications of the Dunbar-Anderson saga are staggering. The court's decision to favor the Dunbars over Julia Anderson highlights the flaws in the judicial system of the early 20th century. It raises questions about the role of social status, the power of public opinion, and the limitations of the legal process in determining the truth. On a personal level, the emotional toll on both families is immeasurable. The Dunbars, who believed they had reclaimed their lost son, were left to grapple with the reality that they had raised another woman's child. The Andersons, who lost Bruce to a legal battle, were vindicated years too late. The pain, confusion, and sense of betrayal felt by both families are a testament to the human cost of this tragic mix-up. This case also serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of identity. For nearly a century, Bruce Anderson lived as Bobby Dunbar, his true origins obscured by the passage of time and the complexities of human memory. The power of DNA testing brought clarity, but it also underscored the delicate nature of who we are and how we are perceived. As we reflect on this case, we must consider the broader implications. What does it mean for our understanding of justice, truth, and family? How do we reconcile the love and care given to Bruce by the Dunbars with the pain and loss experienced by the Andersons? The Bobby Dunbar story is more than just a mystery. It is a lens through which we can examine the human condition, the pursuit of truth, and the enduring impact of our actions. As we close this chapter, we are reminded that some questions may never have definitive answers, but the search for understanding is a journey worth undertaking. The legacy of Bobby Dunbar, now known as Bruce Anderson, will continue to be a source of reflection and learning for generations to come.